Good morning everyone, today we've got a little bit of a weird video ahead of us. I have no idea what the theme of this one is, because the news has been a little bit slow for the last few days. What I've done is I've gathered a bunch of the pieces of news that we've missed throughout the last few videos, and I'm throwing it all into this one. So, what is up everyone, I'm Mystical, and today I'm bringing you a few of the pieces of news from the AR and VR space that we may have missed. So, let's jump right into the video. First things first, we're gonna get some Quest 2 news out of the way. Something interesting has happened. Walmart has apparently started making Quest 2 accessories. Walmart now carries on-brand Quest 2 accessories. VR is starting to go fully mainstream right now. With the PSVR 2 out and the Quest selling nearly 20 million headsets, it's not as small of a space as it used to be. Meta's standalone VR headset was so popular it seems that Walmart's in-house on-brand now seems to offer accessories for the headset, just like major technology products. Walmart now offers 3 accessories for the Quest 2 with the on-branding. The virtual reality 16-inch headset charge and data cable for $49.88, the hard shell case for $29.88, and the comfort head strap for $24.88. The products come ahead of the expected launch of the far more powerful Quest 3 headset later this year. Now, the case actually comes in at an interesting price, since the case that Meta sells, I feel like they actually cheaped out a bit on this one compared to the Quest 1. The Quest 1 actually had a much nicer hard shell case with a much nicer zipper that didn't get caught every second I tried to unzip it, but this one is actually much cheaper and looks like a pretty alright case. Now, you can get a bunch of these on Amazon, but in case you live next to a Walmart, this might be a better option for you. We have no Walmarts here. I live in Ireland, so for you others out there, this could be a nice choice. With that being said though, let's move on to a massive issue with the PSVR 2. Again, I personally don't own the PSVR 2, so I'm just speaking from reports here. Mura, or whatever you want to call it. As Sedlitz Bradley said on Twitter, the most noticeable visual defect on the PSVR 2 is definitely the Mura. Mura can apparently be solved with software after manufacturing/assembly. I think that Sony isn't doing this, or is doing a piss-poor job of it. Mura is an issue that plagues OLED VR headsets due to the nature of the technology. LED screens have less of a problem with Mura, but cannot provide the depth of color that an OLED is able to achieve. Consistency between the pixels' color is absolutely essential when viewed at such a close distance, so any variation where there shouldn't be results in a blurred image. Incorrect calibration can result in slight differences and a greasy, fog-like effect. This fuzzy, or slightly out-of-focus image is sometimes mistaken for dirty lenses or badly calibrated eye distance. This is Mura. PSVR has had this issue before, with many players noticing a film over the image. It causes a lot of uncomfortable viewing experiences and results in a disconnect in the immersion VR strives so hard to achieve. And for people like Sedlitz Bradley on Twitter and thousands of others, I've been seeing many reports on Twitter of people complaining about this. It's a pretty big problem. From Twitter, I finally got what I was looking for. This is 1000 FPS footage of the black pulses of PSVR 2 displays at different brightness levels. The longer the pulse equals less blur. I plan to compare this footage with other headsets to see how different duty cycles might appear. The level of persistence between 0% brightness and 25% brightness is even more of a serious margin. Valve's Index LCD do not change persistence based on brightness level. The backlight is just actually brighter during pulses. This has solved why I feel motion blur in the PSVR 2 so bad for me. The Valve Index, even at 160% brightness, at the same refresh rate, is still slightly lower persistence than the PSVR 2 at 0% brightness. So for a lot of people, this is causing more motion blur, or at least something that looks like motion blur, which sucks. Again, I can't speak for it because I haven't played on the headset myself, and I don't know how I would feel about it. However, there does seem to be a fix. Anyone who adds these settings to their PSVR 2 game is considered an absolute hero in my book. Running a game like this at 0 hardware brightness with increased software brightness is a pleasure. It's almost as if they knew something wonky was going on and put these in to compensate for it. Doing this, you get all the benefits: low persistence, OLED colors, high frame rate, and good graphics. This is what I wanted from my Sony PSVR 2, and it wasn't included with AAA games. What is going on? So apparently, just like we said during the explanation, this can be fixed with a software implementation. This does give us hope that Sony will fix this in the future, and in fact, they should, as it's a big flaw in the headset, or at least so it seems. Again, I don't have my hands on it. But there does seem to be a fix in certain games. Turning down the hardware brightness and bringing up the software brightness in certain titles instead, you get all the benefits, which is absolutely fantastic. So there is hope for the Sony PSVR 2 gamers, and hopefully more titles introduce this, or Sony just goes ahead and fixes the problem, as motion blur is a massive issue inside virtual reality. It makes you uncomfortable, and it makes you want to play on the headset less, as well as making a ton of people just really sick in general, which is not a good experience. It's not what you want to get when you buy yourself a nice new VR headset and try and get your friends into it. So hopefully Sony fixes it, and if they don't, I hope at least titles do themselves. But with that being said, let's move on to the next piece of news. Meta is going to be at GDC, which is the Game Developer Conference of 2023. At GDC, Meta will talk about the future of the Quest. The focus will be on mixed reality, foreshadowing the Quest 3. The Games Developer Conference takes place from March 20th to the 24th in San Francisco. Meta will be there to promote their Quest with demo rooms and speaker sessions. According to an announcement on the developer blog, Meta will share new perspectives of VR and MR. The focus will be on the groundbreaking MR technology, which is mixed reality, insights into the Quest ecosystem, and the latest opportunities for developers. In the demo rooms, Meta will show best-in-class VR and MR experiences on the Quest 2 and the Quest Pro. In addition, there will be 4 speaker sessions. I do wonder which titles they are planning on showing off inside GDC, as well as the fact that Meta's game showcase will be coming up pretty soon. And that brings us directly into our next piece of news, with 41 new titles coming to the Quest. And these are supposedly launching for the Quest 3. You know, kind of bringing up that whole title thing where people have an issue with the fact that VR doesn't have enough titles, doesn't have enough content. Well, apparently Meta is going to deliver. As Rabkin, during that internal presentation that we talked about a few days ago, also said that the Quest 3 will ship with 41 new apps and games. So that's exciting, and that's something to look forward to. 41 new apps and games is not a small number. 41 is actually pretty big. The question is, how big will these titles actually be? Will they be larger titles with longer playtime, or will they just be small titles, or something that some people would consider tech demos? Well, hopefully not. With Meta having so many gaming studios, you'd think that they would be bumping up their gaming quality and hopefully giving us some AAA titles. Maybe not even AAA, maybe AA. Just like they gave us AA batteries. But with that being said, I'm looking forward to Meta's game showcase, and I am really looking forward to see what is in those 41 new apps and games, and will it help people in the purchase of the Quest 3? Will it help push them to buying that new device? As that is the main problem people seem to be having with VR right now. The hardware is there, but the titles aren't. Talking about new titles, former Half-Life writer says cancelled Borealis game was developed too early for VR. Former Half-Life writer Mark Laidlaw revealed why Valve cancelled the Borealis VR game in a new interview. It was too early to be building anything in VR. When people are struggling with the basic tools they need to rough out a concept, it's hard to convey any sort of vision, and it all evaporated pretty quickly. Continuing on, Laidlaw says Borealis would have tied together Half-Life and Portal, but claims this wasn't the idea, stating, "I don't want it to go there at all." Laidlaw says he had to react as gracefully as I could to the fact that it was going there without me, and elaborates on the consequences such a crossover would bring. If you guys are interested in the full article, I'm of course going to leave a link down below. Half-Life is a very, very popular series in gaming, and a lot of people absolutely loved it. There's been many mods, and of course Half-Life Alyx is a thing. Again, if you're interested, I'll leave the full article down below. But it's unfortunate that we didn't get to see another Half-Life inspired title or Half-Life continuation title inside virtual reality. I feel like those titles work really well in VR. I mean, just look at Alyx. And finally, we've got Among Us VR finally supporting custom lobby settings. Shell Games released a new Among Us VR update, adding custom lobby settings and a new hat pack. Previously announced in December Among Us VR 2023 roadmap, custom lobby settings are now live as part of the game's 4th patch. Outlined in a new blog post, Shell Games claims this allows for over 9 billion customization configurations. Well, that's a lot of customization configurations, letting you adjust pace, balancing, and general rules. Complementing this is a new indicator that highlights gameplay balance between imposters and crewmates. So, in case you play the game, you now finally get custom lobby settings, and you can enjoy it a little bit more, creating exactly what you want with exactly whom you want. But yeah, with that being said, we've got a pretty interesting video behind us now. I hope you guys learned something new. I hope you enjoyed it. And just to give you a sneak peek of what's coming, I have something really interesting happening in the background that I don't entirely know whether it's going to work yet, but join me tomorrow or in 2 days when we run PCVR entirely on a phone. Yeah, that's not a joke. I wish it was. But with that being said, I'm Mystical, and this was today's news video. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day or night. If you liked this one, please do leave a like. If you disliked it, I guess the button works too. Thank you so much to all the Patreons supporting this channel. You guys help me out a ton, paying my bills, paying my subscriptions, and helping me make these videos better. If you guys are not yet part of our community, check out our Discord down below and check out our Reddit, where I want to see you posting your spicy memes. And as usual, if you want to be notified of future content coming up on the channel, make sure to smack the subscribe button with your forehead, ding my bell, and see you again in the next video. Peace.